Okay, okay. Hey, light being. It's been a little minute since I decided to record, but today I wanted to record a message on self trust, like trusting yourself, right? And it's important and imperative that this message be relayed because we have to learn how to trust and believe in ourselves and trust and believe in our abilities and our capabilities, right? And that's kind of difficult to do when you have been hurt or when you have been betrayed or, I'm hearing this, disappointed, when you've been just disrespected in all ways, shapes, form, and fashions. Like when you have someone that just wishes discord upon your life or upon your soul or your spirit or your energy, it's difficult to trust again, right? Because people play on your energy and they play on your frequencies and they play on your mind and they play with your heart and they play with your intuition and they play with your soul and they think that they can get away with it. And after a while, you begin to develop a level of distrust with not just with yourself, but with other people, right? Because they have manipulated the energy, right? And so it is important for you to learn how to balance out your energy and how to be able to take time to sit still and be with yourself, right? Once someone has broken that barrier or boundary of trust with you, it is difficult for you to trust again, right? And a lot of that has to do with you trusting and believing in yourself, right? Because you got to think about every interaction that you get into, you played a part in that interaction, you played a part in that relationship or that connection or that communication, whether you agreed to it or not. You were prevalent at some point in time when or wherever that situation transpired or occurred, right? And most of the time I'm talking about a relationship. So when it comes to like just it could be a friendship, it could be a companionship, it could be a partner, it could be a coworker, whatever. Certain situations, when they go down the way they go down, and you realize, oh, you betrayed me or you betrayed my trust, it's difficult for you to open up again and allow yourself to be vulnerable, right? And so you struggle with your energy and balancing your energy. You begin to move with caution, right? And you start to develop barriers or boundaries and put them in place because like once you've been hurt, you don't want to be hurt anymore. You don't want to get hurt again. And so I myself personally, I can speak on that because I've been hurt. You know what I'm saying? I've had people do things to me, say things to me, take from me, steal from me, mistreat me, abuse me, all kinds of things, right? And it makes it difficult to want to you know, step back out into the world. But what I've learned is that I forgive, right? You have to forgive the person that crossed you or hurt you or harmed you, not for the sake of them, but for your own sake. Because at some point in time, you allowed yourself, you made the choice to be there, to be a part of that situation in some way, shape, or fashion. Because if you weren't there, it wouldn't have happened, right? If you weren't prevalent to the situation, it wouldn't have happened. If you weren't conducive to the situation, it wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? There was some point where your soul agreed to be in that location at that time to learn that lesson, right? And so you have to learn how to forgive and let go. And when you forgive, the forgiveness is not for the other person, the forgiveness is for yourself, for you not being who you truly were called to be at that point in time. And so as you forgive, you still have that residue of that hurt or that residue of that pain or that tarnishment that's in your soul or in your system or in your energy. And so you have to let that energy go. And the only way to let that energy go is to learn to trust yourself again. So, like when you transmute energy, you have to understand that you have to trust yourself to make a good decision. And so when you make decisions, and she said, I can make it through the rain. I can stand up once again. Come on, Mariah, baby. So it's like when you make that decision and you mess up, you gotta forgive yourself for making that decision and messing up because it wasn't a mess up or a problem or mistake. Mistakes are lessons. Mistakes are lessons for you to learn, for you to grow, for you to evolve, for you to change, right? And in the process, what you learn to do is protect yourself, right? You learn to establish a boundary or a barrier and say, look, this is what happened when I did this, or this is what happened when I believed or I trusted in this person. Going forward, these are the stipulations that are going to be in place should this situation arise again, right? And it's almost like when you think of the scripture says test the spirit, right? You have to test the spirit, and the spirit will let you know, okay, this is for me and this is not for me. And like when you go against the grain, and when I say go against the grain, you go against your own personal intuition, you go against your gut feeling, your the hairs rising on the back of your neck, the butterflies in your stomach. When you go against it, you tend to find yourself in a situation that you really don't want to be in. Yet at the same time, it's an opportunity for you to learn something new. It's an opportunity for you to test your spirit, to test your growth, to test your process, to test your understanding, to allow yourself to be able to trust in your ability and trust in your your growth, to show that you've actually grown or that you've matured. It's an opportunity for you to reflect and be able to look back on the situation and say, okay, this is what I've gone through and this is what I've learned. So, like, the next time that energy arises, the next time I'm on that vibrational frequency, the next time I'm in this situation, or the next time this scenario comes up, even though it might be you might be different variables in the situation or scenario, you can reflect on and say, okay, I know what it feels like to go through the situation. You begin to understand and exercise empathy, not just for yourself, but for the others. And also, you begin to trust in yourself and say, okay, I know what it feels like to be in a situation. I'm not going to put myself in this situation again. And should I come to this situation, this is how I'm going to deal with it this time. I'm not going to deal with it the same way I dealt with it last time. I'm going to actually move in a way that's beneficial to myself. So, like, for example, I was very easily triggered. I used to have an anger issue, right? I used to get mad I used to get mad quick. Woo. Baby, don't play with me because my anger, woo. I used to be very angry. Like, I used to yell and scream and shout, and I don't like doing that anymore, right? So, like, now when people do stuff, I'm like, okay, I just sit back and I pay attention and I watch, and I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm very aware of myself now, and not just aware of myself, but aware of my surroundings and aware of the people that I allow in my energy, right? And so when people come to test you, it is your job to be in control of your emotions, right? It is your job to be in control of your mindset and your energy that you choose to put out there and into the atmosphere, into the ether. And when you are not in control of your energy and you're not in control of the situation or scenario, like, it's not really being a matter of being in control of the situation scenario. It's more so being in control of yourself and your reaction. When you're not controlling yourself and your reaction, you allow yourself to be impulsive, right? You allow yourself to act out of anger or angst or just being impulsive in whatever energy or whatever frequency that you're in. You disturb your own peace. You disturb your own happiness, right? And my thing is, why would you want to do that to yourself? Right? You should want to trust yourself and believe in yourself and know, like, hey, this is my place of peace. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to stay. Despite what anybody say, do, or whatever, I'm comfortable with me. I'm okay with me. I trust in me. I believe in me. And trusting in yourself is you putting full faith in yourself and your abilities, full faith in your decision making process, to know that you're going to make a good sound decision for yourself and for those that are going to be involved in the situation, the circumstances, whatever the case may be. And so, um I was struggling with self-trust in the area of my creativity and expressing myself creatively, because I've had people look at my work and say, "Oh, that's okay," or "Oh, I don't think it's that good," or "Oh," I've had like negative feedback when it came to my creative process and it came to me creatively expressing myself, because many that know me know that I'm an artist. I do art on the side. Like, I don't just work and teach and do things. I do a lot of little things, what I'm saying, like a jack of many trades. And so when it came to like sharing my art, I still have my moments. Yet I've gone so far as to start posting my artwork on, on Instagram. And so it was like, okay, people can like it, they don't like it. People can interact with it, or they don't have to interact with it. I can name the painting, I don't have to name the painting. It's a matter of me being conscious, right? You have to learn to love yourself so much that you don't care about what anybody else thinks about you. What other people feel about you is their opinion and their feelings, and they are entitled to feel whatever it is that they want to feel. It is not your job or your responsibility to be concerned with someone else's feelings about you. Now, In the instance where you want to establish that relationship or that connection, that is different, right? Because when you want to establish that relationship, yes, you're going to care about what they think of you. Yes, you're going to care about how they feel about you, because you would like for the communication to be congruent, right? You would like for it to be, reciprocal, right? You don't want to be in a relationship or a situation or communication with someone and it's not, received properly or positively, or the two of you are not consciously in the same realm or in the same thought process or the same mindset, right? And so it is very important for you to also trust yourself. Because see, like, just to give a little bit of backstory, like, I was in a relation, I was married for almost 20 years or over 20 years, right? And in the beginning of my marriage, it was beautiful. We had our ups, we had our downs, we had our ins and our outs. And we had moments where it was really good, and we had moments where it was extremely bad, right? And so each time we came to a precipice where the relationship was tumultuous and crazy, instead of me saying, like, fuck you, yo, like, I would just pray and I would ask God, like, God, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me about this situation at this point in time? What am I supposed to be learning? Like, why do you have me dealing with this situation when you know that I deserve better than what I'm dealing with? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a mean person. I'm not a hurtful person. Like, that's the last thing I want to do to anybody, because my biggest thing is I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. I was always considered to be a child of the light. I always consider myself to be a child of light and being considered a child of God. And so, like, if I carry myself as a child of God and I see myself as a child of God, I'm not going to demean or hurt his children, right? I'm not going to demean or hurt the other light beings that he created, the other entities of life that he created, because that's him. Why would I disrespect source, right? Why would I disrespect spirit? Like, and so despite how I was being treated, I always look for the God in that person. You know what I'm saying? It didn't even have to be in that relationship, just anybody in general. Like I was molested when I was a little girl, and the person that molested me was a family member. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it took me time to get to that point to say, okay, I forgive you. I had to learn that that person did what they did because they thought it was the right thing to do, although it wasn't the right thing to do. In their mind, they didn't know any better because that's what they were taught, right? Children carry on your your genetics, your history, your life, your message, whatever. They carry it through their journey and they decide and they discern what's the right thing and what's the wrong thing. And if they're not shown otherwise, then how can they be of kindness or courtesy, right? Or how can they show compassion or show love or show just the sweet tender nature of who they are if they're not taught that, right? We are taught how to grow, evolve, change. We're taught how to, find a flow and whatever it is that we come into connection with. And the thing is, if you're not shown anything outside of what you see, how do you know to broaden your horizons? It's a very few amount of us that are curious, that want to step out of our comfort zone, or that just want to be different than what we were exposed to. Like, a lot of us only know what we know because of what we were exposed to, and we don't know to go beyond, right? And so it's a very, very few group of people that choose to go beyond where they are, right? And so when you choose to go beyond where you are, that is you also trusting in yourself, that there is more to what you have been exposed to, trusting in your inner feeling and your intuition and your heart and your mind and your soul, knowing that there is something else out there that's calling to you, right? And so when you respond to it and you begin to find your flow and you begin to find your niche in life and you begin to step out on boldness and just be yourself, who cares what people think of you? You stop caring so much about other people's opinions and you start caring more about yourself and how you feel and how you show up for yourself and how you show up for others, right? Because your energy speaks volumes, right? Your energy speaks volumes in terms of just, you know, your impression, what you're leaving behind, and how you are infecting in fact, yeah, well, yeah, infecting and affecting the others' lives. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you don't like understand yourself, nobody else is gonna understand you. If you operate in chaos, people around you are going to operate in chaos, right? And then you have to think about what is being projected on you and towards you, and what you yourself are projecting outside of you. So it's very finite to a degree, but it's really not. And you have to understand, like, yourself, like trusting yourself and having self-trust is you knowing that without a doubt you are right. Not to say that you are holier than thou, not to say that you are arrogant or conceited, not to say that you can't allow space to grow, evolve, or change. Is to say, I'm confident in me. I am confident in who I was created to be. And although my journey may not look like what you think my journey should look like, or my gifts don't make sense to you, that doesn't mean that I was created in a bad light or wrong. I am who I was created to be, right? And trusting yourself is enveloping your true nature of who you were created to be, and being confident in it. Like, just how you express yourself, be it how you wear your hair, how you wear your clothes, how you speak, your vernacular, all of it. It's you. You are you, and you being confident in you is what matters. Other people will see that, and they will shine to it, and they will adhere to it, or they will respect it, or they won't. You're gonna have people that's gonna hate on you. You're gonna have people that's not gonna understand. You're gonna have people that's gonna judge you. You're gonna have people that's gonna point fingers. You're gonna have people that's gonna just be like, what the fuck is that and why? Like, that's not for you to concern yourself with, right? Your job is to just illuminate yourself, right? And when you let your light shine, and you just be the beautiful bright light that you were created to be, everything else around you will either adhere or remove itself away from you, how it's supposed to be, right? Like, even down to pain, like when you are in pain, right? A lot of us have experienced all kinds of pains from different aspects and points and perspectives of our lives, right? When you experience pain, it dims your light, right? It takes you to a space or a place where you just want to sit in darkness, and you want to sit in sadness, and you just want to be by yourself, and you just want to be alone, right? And when you're hurting, you just want someone to understand that hurt. You want someone to understand that trial, that tribulation, that space or place that you're in. The thing is, you have to understand why you were there in the first place. And if you can't comprehend why you're there in the first place, nothing nobody says or does is going to take you out of that space or place of pain. You got to take yourself out of that space or place of pain. Like I explain to my children all the time, like, it's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to feel your feelings. Your feelings are an indication of what's going on the inside, right? Your feelings are an indication of where your soul needs to grow, evolve, and change, right? It's okay to feel your feelings. It's not okay to let your feelings consume you or control you. You have to take the reins and take charge of what is going on the inside, and say, look, enough is enough. At some point in time, you have to trust yourself that you can move forward, that you can take a step out into the unknown and know that everything is going to be okay. That is a part of exercising in faith, being bold in faith. That was my last video, being bold in faith, right? Being bold in faith means that I'm trusting and believing in the unknown, that everything is going to work out for me the way it's supposed to work out for me, because it was already predestined or preordained before I even stepped my foot on this earth or this planet. Is knowing that God has something good in store for me. It's knowing that my soul came here to learn, grow, evolve, and change. It's knowing that my journey is already laid out for me. I just have to have the faith. I just have to trust in myself that I'm going to do the right thing, right? It's like it's knowing when to move and when not to move, when to be still, right? It's knowing when to speak, when not to speak. It's knowing who to love and who not to love, right? It's ideation, the word came out. It's it's understanding, like, just your thought process, right? And many of us don't even really fully process all of our thoughts, right? We have these ideas and we're consumed with ideations of things because of society and because of our surrounding and our social networking, right? Yet, if you take yourself and you put yourself in an environment that you've never been in and you've never experienced or you never explored, you're going to have fear. You're going to have like consumption to the point where you're just like, look, I'm just going to fall back. I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to observe. And sometimes you need to take that time to just observe the situation that's around us so you can really make sense of what's going on around you or what God is trying to show you right in front of your eyes. The answer is always inside of you. We have a tendency to want to look outside of ourselves and think that everything that's going on, you know what I'm saying, is where the answer is. The answer is always inside of you. Everything that you need to know, you are already given at birth. Everything that you're going to feel, you was already given at birth. I told a coworker of mine, like a child learns everything or experiences every emotion and every feeling and every scenario, whatever it is that they're going to go, you experience all those things by the time you between the ages of 5 and 7 years old. So by the time you about 5 or 7 years old, you experience everything that you're ever going to experience in life, period. Right? The only difference is every time you level up, every time you grow and evolve and you go to the next level or the next stage or you go through the next cycle, you get in the same test over and over again. It's just a little bit more amplified or it's a little bit more intricate because your consciousness is waking up at each stage, at each level. So as you grow, your mind wakes up. You have new doors that are opening in your spiritual aspect, in your spiritual realm, in your spiritual mindset, right? You have new energies and new, like they say, new levels, new devils. Every time you level up, it's gonna be the same shit that you already experienced. You're already, your soul is gonna be tested on the same stuff you was already tested on by the time you was 5 and 7 years old. It's just gonna be on a different level because you are at that different age, right? And in order for you to grow, evolve, and change, you have to learn how to be okay with being by yourself, right? You have to learn to be okay in your skin, learn to be okay in your own energy, learn to love and embrace you for who you are, despite what anybody else thinks about you, right? And to do that, you have to be able to isolate. You have to be able to sit by yourself and be comfortable with who you are. You have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and stomach yourself when you look in the mirror. You have to be able to look in your eyes and tell yourself the truth about yourself. The eyes are the windows to the soul. And if you can't even look yourself in the eyes when you look in the mirror, baby, you got a problem. You have a serious problem. And like it whew, this is heavy. If you can't stomach what you see, you can't digest what's there, that's a problem, right? You should never be afraid to see yourself in the mirror. When you're afraid to see yourself in the mirror, you're afraid to face yourself. You're afraid to face your own demons. You're afraid to face your light and your dark. You're afraid to understand and know who you are. You're afraid to go into the depths of hell because hell is a mindset, right? You're afraid to go into the depths of hell of who you are. We create our own heaven and hell here on this earth. We create it by our projection of how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive our surroundings, and the projections and ideations of people who place them on us or project to us that we agree to, right? And so you don't always have to agree to what somebody else say. If you don't agree with somebody, you don't have to be coarse or curt or disrespectful. Okay, I respectfully disagree with you. It's just that simple. You don't have to pick up what somebody else puts down. You know what I'm saying? It's not for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And that's okay. And that's where you have to learn how to create space. That's where you have to learn how to step back and step away from situations and create space in those relationships, because sometimes those relationships are not conducive to you growing. That's a matter of you trusting yourself, trusting that you are going to make the best decision for you, trusting that you are going to surround yourself with the right people, trusting that you are okay. And sometimes it does put you in a space, a place of sadness. Sometimes it makes you feel bad because you got to walk away from people that you truly, genuinely, honestly love, people that you thought would always be with you for the duration of your life, people that are supposed to just, have your back or have your front, left, right, side, inside out, people that you've grown up with, people that you were born of, right? Because sometimes those are people that break your heart the most. Those are people that discard you. Those are people that tear you down. They can be the people that make you the most angry, the most angriest person in the world, right? However, you have to learn to sit with your anger. You have to learn to sit with those feelings and understand, why am I angry? Why am I sad? Why am I in pain? Why? Remember that question, why? Ask yourself why. And there is a reason why. The reason why is because it's something that you need to learn about yourself. You need to understand, okay, I was triggered by this behavior. I was saddened behind this word or this action or this notion, right? I was angered by this. It angered me because, anger and pain and all that stuff stems from being sad, from not being seen, from not being heard, from not being acknowledged. But here's the question. Are you seeing yourself? Are you hearing yourself? Are you acknowledging yourself? Are you creating space for yourself? Are you honoring yourself? Are you eager to just, sit and just hear yourself? Are you hungry for more? Are you hungry for growth? Are you hungry to just be better, to want more for yourself, right? Like, you have to do the work. And if you're not going to sit and do the work or take the time to do the work, then whatever happens to you happens to you. But that's on you. You're going to keep going through the same cycle. You're going to keep being sad. You're going to keep being, tested until you grow up. And once you go through these things and you discern, you build your discernment, you build your understanding, you build compassion for yourself, you give yourself some forgiveness. You trust that everything that's happening to you is happening to you for a reason. And you start to forgive yourself for making the decisions and choices that you made in your past. And you trust yourself to love yourself enough to say no to the things that no longer serve you, be it weed, smoking, alcohol, women, men, be it, I don't know, clubbing, whatever it is that is your vice, right? Whatever it is that you put, like for me, my thing right now is YouTube. I'm on YouTube all the fucking time. Like I stay on YouTube, right? I'm always watching videos or listening to music. And I'm like, yo, I got a whole bunch of other shit I gotta do. Like, sis, let's get it together. Let's snap out of it, right? It's learning to give yourself a boundary, right? And to cleanse, right? And when you cleanse, you recognize what you have put yourself in. You hold yourself accountable for what you put yourself in. And you say to yourself, hey, we're not going to do that anymore. At some point in time, you have to reparent your soul, right? We learn a lot of things from our parents, right? We have to learn how to be strong, right? How to trust in our parents and believe in our parents and know that our parents are guiding us to the best of their ability. Yet you also have to understand and know that your parent is just a person just like you. Your parent is experiencing and exploring life just like you. Your parent is still growing just like you. Just because they're your parent doesn't mean they're finished growing up. Just because they're your parent doesn't mean that they've experienced or explored all the things that they need to explore in this life, right? Sometimes you as a child are the teacher to your parent. It's not always the parent that's the right one. Sometimes the kids are right too, right? You have to learn how to take it all in and respect the space and be strong in it, right? Being strong and exercising in strength is being able to endure. What can you endure without breaking down, without crying, without being defeated or feeling defeated or wanting to give up? You know how many times I wanted to give up? You know how many times I say I quit, yet I still keep going? Because in my mind, I'm like, if I quit, I'll never succeed. Quitters never win. That's what the saying is. Quitters never win and winners never quit. I'm a winner. I know I'm a winner. I believe I'm a winner. I trust that I'm a winner because I trust in myself. I know that I was put on this planet for something great. And I'm not the only one that was put here to do that. There are so many other people out here who have so many gifts, who are extremely creative, who are extremely thoughtful, yet they didn't have a person to encourage them. Here's the key. Encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. Okay? And that's where I'll go with that. Trusting yourself to encourage yourself. Excuse me, because I'm about to end this video. But trusting yourself to encourage yourself to know that you are created for greatness. Right? And the last card is peace. Come on, baby. Peace, right? Peace. Remember, to thine own self be true. Always believe in you. Love yourself for who you are. And check this video out whenever you check this video out. Peace, and I love you. Ashe, me, I'm going to sing.